In the first part of this story, everything seemed normal until Gio uncovered a horrifying truth about the girl he loved. Gio discovered that his girlfriend Miho devours human flesh. He saw her kill his best friend, only to question reality when that same friend appeared alive. Doubt, fear, and madness consumed him as he struggled to understand. Was Miho truly a monster, or was Gio simply losing his mind? And now, Miho finally breaks the silence. She reveals her past, how she turned into a monster, and the moment she dragged Gio into her nightmare. The truth is darker than he ever imagined, because Gio himself is no longer human. Gio was still in shock upon hearing the truth. His world shattered, his love twisted, his fate uncertain. The story continues. Gio was still in shock, but he forced himself to ask Miho, "How many have you turned into monsters?" Miho's expression stayed calm. She said, "Not enough." Then her voice softened, almost dreamy. Imagine it, Gio, a grand empty musical theater where the most famous actors perform just for the two of us, an amusement park where we're the only ones there, watching fireworks every night, a world where everything belongs only to us. Her eyes gleamed, and it was you who suggested it all. I'll make your dream come true. I'll do everything for you. All you have to do is love me in return. Gio's sweat dripped down his face. In his mind, love you? You turn people into monsters. You turn my family into monsters, and you expect me to love you? Miho studied his shaking hands, his pale face. She said, "You're not ready. That's why I didn't want to tell you until your memories came back. I was hoping you'd recover them all." Then she stepped closer. "Gio, live with me. Quit school. We can get a hotel and stay there together, waiting until our utopia is ready." But suddenly, Gio's voice cut through her words. "Don't. I want you to stop eating people altogether. If you really love me, please don't do anything." Miho froze, then slowly smiled. "Fine. I'll put everything on hold until your memories come back." But neither of them realized someone was on the other side of the wall, secretly recording their entire conversation. Outside Gio's house, Miho walked with him, smiling faintly. "Let's meet again tomorrow." She stood there watching Gio disappear into the distance. Then she sat down on the stairs, staring blankly, until memories of her past began to surface. When Miho was just a child, she played with her friends. One of them, a mischievous boy, kept poking a worm with a stick. Suddenly, a huge worm slithered out of a tree log. The boy grinned. "Let's play with the big one." The other girl shrieked, "No way, it's disgusting." But before they could run, the worm leapt at their faces. Miho stood frozen as her friends screamed. Then another parasite jumped directly onto Miho's face. Minutes later, she woke up, dazed. She looked around, searching for her friends. They appeared behind her, but something was wrong. "Hey, did something just crawl into our ears?" Miho asked weakly. But her friends only stared at her. Then, together, they called her Mom. Miho's face twisted in terror. "What? No, don't call me that." She crawled backward as they approached, chanting, "Mom, Mom," over and over. "Stay away from me! Go away!" Miho screamed. Tears streamed down her face. When she opened her eyes again, they had stopped walking and simply turned away. Miho was left trembling, unable to understand what had happened. That night, the police discovered 2 children dead. Their faces were horribly mangled. The officers said it was probably a wild beast. Miho, innocent, terrified, had no idea what really happened. 1 year later, Miho had grown. On her first day of middle school, her mother smiled warmly. "Are you nervous for your first day?" Miho nodded shyly, showing off her new uniform. They looked like a happy family. Her father asked Miho to come closer to show her photo, but before he could, Miho suddenly doubled over, vomiting. Her parents rushed to her side until they saw what she threw up. A parasite. It writhed on the floor, then sprang at their faces. Miho screamed, "No, stop! Mom, Dad!" She begged the parasite to stop, but another one erupted from her throat, latching onto her parents. When they opened their eyes again, they called her Mom. Miho broke down, sobbing. She remembered her friends, remembered the same horror. From then on, Miho knew. Gio wasn't just unique. He was just like her. For Miho, Gio was the only one who could understand, and she was the only one who could understand him. No matter how much Gio denied it, no matter how desperately he tried to run, Miho believed they were meant to be. She was waiting for the day he would realize it, just like he had back in high school. Meanwhile, inside the bathroom, Gio looked at the mirror trying to figure out if what Miho said was true. He touched his head and found a cut. When he felt it, he laughed bitterly and said to himself, "So, was everything true? That I killed Yarin? That I'm a monster and that I convinced Miho to turn everyone into monsters?" Gio walked out of the bathroom. At the lobby of a cell phone repair shop, Gio sat down, still thinking about what happened at the comic shop. He wondered how many people Miho had turned into monsters. He looked at the people around him and asked himself, are they monsters too? A staff member approached and asked if he brought his phone for a screen replacement. Gio handed over the phone to be fixed, still thinking maybe he was a monster too. But he tried to convince himself they can't all be monsters. She would have had to do it one by one. She couldn't have done it all. Then, outside, Gio opened the notes on Miho's phone. His teeth clenched, his hands trembled when he saw the list of people Miho had turned into monsters. He slumped down. Each page had about 20 names, and there were 142 pages. At least 2,800 people all turned into monsters because of Gio's request to Miho. He froze in shock. He knew there must be even more, names not written on the phone. Then his eyes widened. On the list, there was a photo. It was Yarin. Yarin was also turned into a monster. Gio remembered Yarin's death. He remembered looking at her body, then looking to the side. There was a witness. It was Miho. Miho bit her lip, covered her mouth, and laughed in satisfaction. She had done all of this. Meanwhile,
Inside Miho's house, she cleaned picture frames. She smirked, then her phone rang. She set the frame down and answered. It was Gio. He said they should finish their conversation and told her he was outside. Miho opened the door and let him in. She sat, smiling, saying it must have been hard for him to believe without proof. She sounded excited that he was trying to get his memory back. Gio forced a smile. "Don't worry," he said, "I was just confused back then. I couldn't think straight. I'm thankful you're trying to help me get my memory back." Miho smiled and glanced at his bag. She said it was nice they could finally sit and talk. She said high school had been troublesome, how Gio always ran when she asked to talk, how he dodged even short conversations like a scared dog. They never had a chance to sit quietly. Miho asked if Gio remembered anything else. Gio said he didn't. She reassured him it would come back bit by bit as they kept talking. Then she asked if he wanted to hear what happened right after she turned him into a monster, or if he had any burning questions. Gio asked why she stuck with him even when he ran in high school. Why wait almost 2 years to tell him the truth? Did she like him because he was special, different from the others she turned into monsters? Miho's face softened. She said Gio liked her first. He grew on her. When she first became a monster, she felt disgusted with herself and couldn't accept it. But Gio reacted differently. He accepted it and started planning what to do. For Miho, that felt right. She wanted to be like him. She picked up a photo and showed it to Gio, saying he'd said he liked her first, so there was no reason not to like him back. Inside Gio's mind, "You don't love me. You killed my family and ruined my life. You don't love me, you use me. I'll never forgive you. I'll kill you, Miho." He forced his face calm and asked about Miho's arm. He touched it and felt it was healed. He asked if it had hurt. Miho said it didn't hurt at all. Gio thought about her weak point, the thing that might control her. Maybe her head, maybe an organ. He remembered swinging a hammer at her head and her blocking with her arm. She hadn't felt pain when hit by a car. If her head was the weak spot, maybe he could kill her. Suddenly, Miho said, "Come out." A group of people, puppet monsters, emerged from another room. Miho said, "Gio, you don't remember everything, but you haven't changed. In high school, you understood me and loved me. I was naive enough to believe it. You pretend to care, pretend to recover your memory, but you're trying to kill me and run. What threat will stop you from running? Come with me, I'll show you." They forced Gio out of the house. The puppet monsters dragged him. The man who had been spying watched from his car. He forwarded the recording to Orion. As Orion listened, memories came back, when she smashed Miho's head with a bat wearing a helmet. Back then, Orion had taken a monster from Miho and kept it for herself. She removed the helmet and for a moment looked different, black hair, and said something like, "I'm your mom," to the monster Miho had made.
It turned out Orion was using the monsters to make money for herself. She treated them like a cash machine, but she wasn't satisfied. She wanted more. She wanted a jackpot. She wanted to control Miho. A few days later, Orion caught Miho turning someone into a monster again. Her subordinate pinned Miho to the floor with a taser. Orion was too late to take that newly made monster for herself, so she decided to dispose of it. Still, she thought she could use the victims. All she needed was their phones and fingerprints to access bank accounts and take loans. Then one of Orion's underlings who'd grabbed Miho started acting strangely. Orion watched him, and suddenly he turned into a monster too. He attacked Orion, shoving her back. During the struggle, the parasite fell off and they ran. That's when Orion realized the truth. The monster wasn't Miho herself, but a parasite living inside her body. The parasite jumped from Miho onto Orion's underling and attacked her. Orion was furious. She had lost most of her puppet-making money in the process, but she told herself it was fine. Miho still didn't know that Orion had been stealing her monsters because Orion always wore a helmet during the raids. The next morning at school, Orion showed up with blonde hair. Miho noticed right away. She said the color suited her, touched her hair, and asked when she'd gotten it done. Orion lied, saying 3 days ago. Inside, Orion was plotting. She wanted to tame Miho, kidnap her, turn her into a monster-making puppet, but she knew Miho wouldn't obey her command. Miho wasn't someone who could be controlled so easily. Orion needed to find her weakness. Then Gio appeared. From that moment, Orion began watching the two of them closely. After the car accident, Orion kept asking herself, who really is Gio? A clueless kid who didn't know Miho was a monster? Another monster Miho created for her own pleasure? Or maybe Gio was the real monster and Miho was the one he created? To Orion, it didn't matter. All that mattered was Gio's importance to Miho, and that meant he could be used. Listening to the recording, Orion first thought Gio was simply Miho's weakness, but the tape showed they shared a long history. Miho was desperate for love. Orion laughed at the thought. She turned his family and friends into monsters and expects him to love her? How could he love her after everything she's done? She's insane, completely out of her mind. Just then, her subordinate called. The job was done. He told her he had taken 35 million won from the 4 people they'd exploited. He asked what to do with the bodies. They'd rot and smell and were hard to dispose of. Orion said it was fine. They were in the middle of nowhere, nobody would notice. She thanked him, called him Oppa, and added that without him, she never would have learned Miho was a monster. Then she hung up. Meanwhile, on Gio's side,
Gio was cornered in the car by 2 monsters. Then Miho spoke. She said they'd arrived and ordered them to get off. Outside the hospital, the detective was walking in for a health check. He needed a report for his promotion. Inside, a nurse told him to take a pill and lie on his side for an endoscopy. He followed the instructions and lay down. Minutes later, he began losing consciousness from the drugs. The nurse looked at him and moved him into the operating room. On the operating room, the detective was unconscious. They shaved his head, drilled a hole, and one staff member stepped away to get something. He returned holding a jar. Inside, it was a parasite. They put the parasite into the detective's brain. After the operation, they moved him with the other unconscious patients to a different area. A nurse put headphones on him, and as he opened his eyes, he mumbled, "Mom." The nurse turned on the monitor. Miho's video played. "Did you lose any memories while settling in? Will it interfere with your life?" Miho asked on the screen. "Use your muscle memory and go about your business until I summon you. You're just waking up from an endoscopy. Don't ever question the scar on your head. If you remember you became a monster, lose that memory. And don't ever call me Mom again. It makes me sick." The nurse shut off the monitor. After the procedure, the detective walked through the hospital and met someone he knew. They spoke briefly, then a loudspeaker announcement filled the building. "Attention visitors! This is an announcement from Seoul National University Hospital." A woman complained it was too loud, but the message kept going. It told everyone who heard it to smile and dance to the rhythm. In the control room, Miho is making the announcement. She counted a rhythm, and one by one, the people who heard it started smiling and dancing in a creepy, synchronized way. Only one person did not join. Miho told the speaker that anyone not dancing would be handed to the doctors and turned into a monster, then act like nothing happened. All the monsters gathered around the woman who had complained. Miho turned off the microphone, then looked at Gio and asked what he thought. "Did you enjoy the hospital flash mob?" she asked. "What should I make them do next? A monster jam in the middle of Seoul, or synchronized gymnastics shaped like our faces?" She stepped closer. "Stop running.
Accept this new reality. You're running out of places to hide. I'll make a world just for the two of us. Give up, Gio. I love you." Gio froze. He realized everyone around him was already a monster. There was no easy way out. He couldn't accept living the rest of his life kissing up to Miho and pretending to love her. He couldn't. He started laughing as his legs lost strength. In his head, he thought, "Why would I subject myself to that humiliation? What did I do so wrong? If I have to live like that, maybe I should get rid of you. You caused all of this mess. Then maybe I could try to forget that everyone is a monster. That could be the solution."
Miho told him not to feel bad. He'd never see her speak to most of the people she turned into monsters. Who would care if they died or had an accident? No need to feel guilty, she said. She could help him get rid of that guilt. Outside the hotel, there was a banquet and music. Miho swam in the pool and asked Gio to join her. He might be bored sitting alone, she said. They were the only people at the hotel, so there was nothing to stop them from having fun. If he was bored, they could play human dominoes, or she could order fireworks, or invite celebrities, the ones she'd turned into monsters, to sing. Whatever he wanted, she could make it happen. Gio asked, "Is it really okay to enjoy all of this?" Miho looked surprised. "Of course it is," she said. "So I can humiliate them, do whatever I want to these people," Gio pressed. "What do you mean people?" Miho replied. "We're the only people here. I told you, you can torture or kill any bug in this hotel right now. No one will blame you. So yes, do whatever you want. I'll be here to watch. No more guilt." A puppet monster brought dessert to Gio. He ate it and suddenly laughed, clenching his fist. "It's so sweet," he said. The puppet monsters lined up and began falling like dominoes, and Gio enjoyed watching. Miho handed him another dessert. "Try this, it's delicious," she said. He bit it and smiled. "This hotel has the best desserts," he said. He raised his hand and ordered the most expensive dessert, 50 of each kind. The chef, dancing and covered in food, obeyed. Miho laughed, "Your wish is my command." They looked at each other and burst out laughing hard as the puppet monsters danced and played music. Miho told Gio she was relieved to see him enjoying it. Gio smiled. "We should make a toast," he said, handing over a bottle of wine. "A toast to our world." They cheered and Gio drank deeply. After a lot of wine, Gio floated in the pool. Miho called to him and asked if he liked the trial version of the world she was building. "I love it," he said. "Thank you, I'll never forget this. I want to live this luxurious life forever." He said he couldn't wait for their world to be finished. Out of nowhere, Gio asked how many people she'd turned into monsters. He was curious. She told him it would happen soon. She said she'd already taken over most of the big hospitals in Seoul and that nearly everyone would be a monster within 2 years. Gio said he thought she worked one-on-one to turn people. Miho explained that was how she started, but she'd scaled up. Gio praised her, amazed that she'd turned a hospital into a monster factory. "If it were me, I'd never have thought of that. You're amazing," he said. Miho was glad he saw it that way. She told him he didn't remember those times, but for her, it had felt great to be near him. She couldn't wait to build a world where they could rely on each other. She added she had a toy she used to play with, someone who didn't run away and always fought back. But now that she had Gio, she said, she didn't need that toy anymore. Gio asked what the toy was. Miho said it was someone presumptuous who kept trying to mooch from her. It was fun to play with, but she didn't need the toy now that she had Gio. She went on and said she was so happy that if she had known this would happen, she should have told Gio the truth sooner. She shouldn't have been so cautious. In high school, she'd learned threats were the best form of conversation. Then she said, "I love you" to Gio. Inside Gio's mind, "You monster. How can you say you love me? You're disgusting. I feel sick. You love me? I'll give you the love you want. I'll pretend to love you until you let your guard down, and then I'll finish you." He told Miho, "I love you too," but suddenly he vomited. "Sorry, I had too much wine." Miho looked at what he'd thrown up and almost sadly, "You're still not ready. Today could have been perfect. What a shame."
Then she added, "Let's talk, Gio. It could help jog your memory." "Sure, that's a great idea," Gio said. "But before we start, one question. Who is this toy you keep talking about? How did you play with it?" "Why do you ask?" Miho said. "You told me it got you through rough times," Gio said. "Maybe I can learn something. Maybe I could help you." "So tell me, Gio, do you think you're a monster or still human? Do you know why I drill a hole and put a parasite in people's heads? Because that way I can better preserve their memory. If I put them in the nose or ear, those squirmies would crush the brain as they settle in and damage the brain. That's what causes memory loss. I learned that from experience.
Drilling straight into the head is the sensible option. That's why I pierce their heads now. She stepped closer. So what does that make us? You and I don't lose our memories, and we don't go around saying "Mom" like the other monsters. What makes us special? Maybe we keep our memories whole, unlike them. Yes, I've retained my memories, but what if I'm not the person I was before? Does that make us parasites? Doesn't that make you sad and creep you out at the same time? How can I accept being a parasite? I hated myself for it. But then you changed how I saw things. You loved the new person I became. The toy I told you about, well, it accepted me, but tried to take advantage. Instead of running away, it tried to use me. I enjoyed it. I felt validated. It didn't even realize I knew everything. I watched the whole time. You have no idea how fun it was to watch it giggle, thinking it had stolen all my monsters. I could play with it until it crossed the line, then toss it away. That toy was Iriang. Miho knew everything about Iriang. She had been acting dumb. Meanwhile, Iriang watched the hospital video where the monsters smiled and danced. She broke down in front of a subordinate and said they had to run. She hadn't known there were so many monsters. This was beyond her control. It was too dangerous. She needed to leave the country. She wondered, if Miho could control that many monsters, why did Miho never attack her? Then she realized Miho had been toying with her. She could get rid of her whenever she wanted. If Miho could make that strange dance party at the hospital without suspicion, maybe she was hiding many more monsters. What if it wasn't just one hospital? What if airport staff and pilots were monsters too? If so, could I really run? Iriang said. Should I beg for my life? Suddenly, Gio called. Iriang answered. Hey Iriang, you know Miho is a monster, right? Help me please, Gio begged. I know this is sudden and you might not believe me, but Miho is just messing with you. She's taking advantage of you. In Iriang's head, she wondered, how does he know I've been stealing monsters? Why tell me now? She played dumb. Sorry, Gio, I have no idea what you mean. Miho a monster? Did you two fight? Gio grew desperate. Don't play games, Iriang, or I'll tell Miho. She's outside. I'll ask her to punish you for stealing her monsters. Don't make me do this. I'll make her drag you here. Stop playing me for a fool. I'm going to tell Miho right now. Did you hear me? Iriang snapped. Shut up, you loser. Gio kept begging on the phone. Please help me. How am I supposed to tell who's a monster? They all sound the same. You're the only one I know who's not a monster. With no other option, Iriang asked, what do you want me to do? Gio said, help me kill Miho. I'm at a hotel. Everyone here is a monster except me. I can't think how to kill her. You've been stealing monsters. You must know how to fight them. Iriang hesitated. What if Gio was tricking me? I knew Miho and Gio were both monsters. Why would Gio want Miho dead? Maybe he hadn't fully recovered his memories and wanted revenge for his family and friends that turned into monsters. Gio begged again. Please, Iriang, are you going to help me or not? Don't tell me you want to become a monster too. If we don't do something, everyone will be monsters within a year, including you. He added that Miho had turned hospitals into monster factories. Annual physicals and surgeries were being used to create monsters. That caught Iriang's attention. Which hospital is the monster factory? She asked. Gio's answer made her realize Miho wasn't turning people one by one into a monster. She was using hospitals to mass-produce monsters. If that was true, Iriang could learn the method at the hospital. She could build an overseas monster farm and create her own kingdom. She told her underling to pull the car over. Then she said into the phone, Gio, about what you just said.
Can you tell me more? Iriang said. How did you even find out about this, Gio? Did Miho tell you too? Gio said he'd seen it with his own eyes, people being turned during surgeries, monsters controlled through recorded video on a TV. Please, Iriang, you have to believe me, he begged. Iriang asked, so the hospital really creates these parasite monsters? Yes, Gio said. They're made right in the hospital. I saw it. Please, will you help me? Gio had no clear plan. He'd called out of desperation and even threatened Iriang because he was panicked. Sorry about that, he said. I only said it because I'm desperate. Iriang thought for a moment. He's not bluffing. He's genuinely panicking. And he's important to Miho.
I need to get hold of him no matter what. He's a safety net for me. She decided to help him. All right, Young said. So you're at a hotel. Can you get out, or are you being held captive? I'm not sure, Gio admitted. I think I'm being held. Young kept thinking, if Miho cares so much about Gio, I can use that. I could make a diversion at the hospital so Miho has to leave the hotel. When she does, I'll get you out. She told Gio that plan and they hung up. Inside her head, she said, lucky bastard. If I were you, I'd be thinking how to use the situation. This is a waste. He doesn't deserve any of this. Miho loves him so much. Maybe I should just run. But what if monsters are everywhere at the airport? I'll need a hostage to get out safely. Gio returned to Miho. Sorry it took a while, he said. Shall we go inside? It's getting cold. On the way in, Gio asked, do you have a manual or something in case there's a fire or someone tries to destroy the hospital and discovers your secret? Destroy the hospital? Miho scoffed. That could never happen. Can we talk about our past instead? Gio forced a smile. You're right. I asked too many questions. I'm sorry. There are so many things I don't know. I couldn't help it. Miho said she understood. But what's more important than our past? She asked. Gio in his mind, I should back off. If I push, she'll get suspicious. Young might not attack the hospital now. She could wait until I deliver the manual, or she could run. What if she's pretending to cooperate? What if she really runs? Miho watched him closely. What are you thinking about, Gio? He lied. I was thinking about your toy. What if she finds out and runs? What if Young flees the country and ruins the utopia you worked so hard for? Miho smiled. You were thinking about our future. I thought you were thinking about something else. Don't worry. Do you know how many backup plans I made because you ran away so often? Do you think I'd play with Young without plenty of fallbacks? She can never get away or ruin what we're building. You just focus on getting your memories back, okay? Miho leaned in, calm but intense. I told you how I turned you. I remember saying, it wasn't defective, you're just unique. In the past, at that time, I wondered why you were like me. What do we have in common? Is there something special about your brain? I need to explain. She softened her voice. So, what did you say your name was? Can we talk a bit? I know you're confused. You probably sense something's wrong. I was like you once. Usually, when parasites get into a head, people become my pets. They answer to me. But you're different. I think you're special, just like me. Miho reached into her throat, pulled out a parasite, and showed it to Gio. He panicked. He ran desperately, scared, stumbling back into his house and fumbled for his phone. He said, I'm calling the police. Trembling. Miho stayed on the other side of the door, pleading. I know this is confusing. You still have all your memories. Look at this. You're not human anymore. She begged him not to make it harder and asked to talk it out. I've never met anyone like you. You don't know how lonely I've been. Does that make me bad or weird? I finally see hope. What will it take for you to speak to me? Gio's mother appeared behind her and said, Who are you? Gio recognized her voice and opened the door, rushing to her. For a long second, everyone froze.
Miho looked at Gio's mother and then at Gio, smiling like she had just found something interesting. At that moment, Gio's mother looked at him and saw Gio's head bleeding. Without hesitation, Gio's mom pushed Miho into the corner and grabbed Gio, pulling him into their house. Inside the house, Gio's mother asked him what happened, why he was bleeding, and who that girl at the door was. She asked if he knew her, what was going on, and if she was the reason for his injury. Gio said yes, she did it, Mom. His mother said that he was bleeding so much and that they needed to get him to the hospital. But Gio panicked and said, Mom, can we go later? I'm fine. Then she opened the door. Outside, Miho was not there. They both wondered where Miho had gone. In Gio's mind, he thought, I guess she doesn't care if people find out I'm a monster, huh? Inside the elevator, Gio's mom asked him, So tell me, what happened, Gio? Something is wrong with that girl, right? But before he could explain, Miho appeared and said, Hello, ma'am? I'm sorry this is how we're meeting each other for the first time. I'm afraid there has been some misunderstanding. I just wanted to tell you that I'm his classmate and we're neighbors. I just moved in yesterday. Gio's mom, surprised and sweating, replied, I heard you hurt my son in the head. Is that true?
Then Miho's puppet parents appeared, introducing themselves. One said he was Miho's father and that they needed to talk privately, parent to parent. Gio quickly told his mom, "Don't agree." But Gio's mom said, "I don't think that's necessary. Whatever you need to say, you can say it right here." Then Miho's fake father asked if he could whisper it to Gio's mom, but she didn't agree, saying he could just say it out loud. The fake parents looked at each other and then said that Gio got hurt because he fell. Gio's mom asked, "You're telling me this injury is from a fall? Be straight with me. What happened exactly?" Then the fake parents suddenly stepped into the elevator. They explained that since they had just moved in, they were supposed to introduce themselves first, but Gio had come over to say hello to their daughter when they weren't home. Then they noticed a pair of slippers and thought Miho had brought a friend. They said they knocked on Miho's room to ask if she had company, and that's when they heard a loud thud. When they opened the door, they found Gio there. They asked what happened, but he wouldn't say anything except that he fell. Miho pretended to be embarrassed while Gio looked at her in fear, sweating. Then Miho's fake father whispered to Gio's mom, saying he thought they were up to something and panicked when they realized the door was opening. Gio's mom asked, "What do you mean they were up to something?" She paused, then suddenly realized that Gio and Miho might have been doing something intimate in the room. Covering her mouth in shock, she said, "Oh my God," and looked at Gio. Gio quickly said, "I didn't do it. That's not what happened." But the look on his mom's face showed disappointment, while Miho's face showed satisfaction. On their way to the hospital, while in the car, they argued. Gio insisted that's not what happened, but his mom said she was embarrassed for pushing Miho really hard with her bag. She added that she understood the urge at their age, but that Gio had been bold to do something like that, especially with Miho's parents there. Gio shouted, "Mom, are you even listening? I told you it wasn't like that." "Then what was it?" his mom asked. Desperately, Gio wanted to say, "She was a monster. She chews on people's heads. She bit my head open and showed me a weird monster that looked like an octopus." That's what he was supposed to tell her, but he couldn't. He knew his mom would never believe him. In Gio's mind, he wondered if Miho's parents were monsters too, and why Miho would go out of her way to threaten him and dodge the situation. Maybe she wants something from me. That must be it. She's threatening me because she wants something. I'm special. She said it herself. Inside the hospital, Miho spoke. She had turned a few doctors into monsters just to test if she really was a monster. She was glad she did, because otherwise, trying to fool a doctor into believing that Gio's injury was just a simple tear would have been tricky. Then Gio asked, "What do you want from me?" Miho smiled. "So I guess we're talking now, huh?" Gio said, "What option do I have? You're going to threaten me again. Why are you doing this?" Miho replied, "How else would I get you to talk to me? Don't worry, I'm not going to hurt your family. I know what it feels like to lose parents. My parents died when I was 14. Well, technically, I turned them into monsters, not just my parents." Then a flashback of Miho's past. At school, a friend of Miho's once asked if she could come over to her house. After that, her first friend from middle school was turned into a monster. Miho said she didn't mean to. Later, a classmate approached her, trying to comfort her, saying it wasn't her fault, that it was an accident. But Miho unintentionally turned them into monsters too, while another begged her to keep her secret. After that, people started avoiding her, whispering that everyone around Miho was becoming a freak. One even said that Miho might be cursed. At that time, she didn't mean for any of it to happen, but people began to hate her, looking at her with disgust. Miho would run into the bathroom to vomit, poaching parasites coming out of her mouth. For her, it was inevitable. They emerged unintentionally. She asked if she was a bad person, if everything was her fault, and she looked pitiful because she truly didn't want any of it to happen and blamed herself over and over. But in the present, Miho said it wasn't her fault. She thought I was just a kid at that time. She insisted that she hadn't let the monsters control her while even adults around her couldn't resist. It was their fault, she said. She explained that for the longest time she thought everything was her fault, and she even wished to die, but now that she knew it wasn't, she felt relief. Because she had almost ended her life, and that wouldn't have been fair.
Finally, she thanked Gio for showing up in her life, properly introduced herself, and said, "My name is Miho. I would like us to be friends." Gio was shocked. Miho smiled and asked, "What do you think?" "You want us to be friends? Why?" Gio asked. "Haven't I explained?" Miho replied. "When a monster swallows you, most people obey the first person they imprint on. See my parents over there? They all obey me. So does the doctor who treated you." So, you're saying you turned me into a monster, but I don't obey you like the others. And that's why you want to be friends? Geo asked. The parasite? The octopus thing? It's inside my head now? Miho pointed at Geo. No, it's not in you. It is you. The boy you remember as yourself is already gone. You're just a parasite who stole his memories, now living off his body, just like me. Geo froze, unable to believe what he had just heard. Then his mom appeared, telling him it was time to go home. She turned to Miho, apologizing for the earlier misunderstanding and for pushing her with her bag. She asked if Miho was all right. Miho smiled and said it was fine, that she should be the one apologizing for causing trouble. Gio's mom then invited Miho over, promising to make her something delicious. Miho's eyes lit up. Really? You know, I never say no to an invitation. You're always welcome, Gio's mom said warmly. I hope you and Gio become good friends. I'm sure we will, Miho answered with a smile. That night, Gio lay in bed unable to sleep. His thoughts churned. Am I really a monster? He refused to believe it. He convinced himself that he wasn't. The monster had failed to take over his mind. And even if Miho was right, that he was a parasite living off someone else's body and memories, he wouldn't live like that crazy girl Miho. He would protect his dignity as a human. But first, he had to play along. He would pretend to be her friend, just as she wanted. The next morning, he planned how to use Miho to protect his family. But the problem was how to become friends with the monster. Miho was already waiting outside. She greeted him cheerfully. Good morning. Want to walk to school together? In Gio's 9, he thought, I have to act calm. If she sees my fear, my family could be in danger. So he forced a smile. Sure, let's walk together. On the way to school, Gio's mind raced. How do I win her trust? Should I buy her favorite snack? Ask her out to a movie? What would make her like me? The walk was quiet, awkward. Neither knew what to say. It had been too long since either of them had a friend. Miho glanced at Gio. Why is he so calm? Is he still in denial? She wondered if he would accept the truth once he started vomiting parasites, but she wanted to be his friend before that happened. Did he resent me? Miho thought to herself. I didn't want any of this either. He brought it on himself. I was ready to live alone forever, but he kept bugging me. And really, being a monster isn't so bad. You can't feel pain. You can live a normal life as long as you're careful. Just don't forget to spit out the parasites in the morning. For her, that was enough. She didn't care if Gio hated her. She could always threaten him. He would come around eventually. They walked in silence until their eyes met. Miho spoke. Now that you're a monster like me, don't you have any questions? Questions? I've got plenty, Gio thought. Why did you turn me? How many people have you destroyed? Are there others like you? But he knew asking that would only trigger her. If you don't have any questions, maybe I can tell you my story, Miho said. She explained that in elementary school she had been normal. But when middle school started, monsters suddenly erupted from her mouth and attacked her parents, even though she hadn't wanted them to. So what? Gio thought bitterly. Why the sob story? Is she looking for sympathy? Does she want me to comfort her? What the hell does she want? Miho continued. She said her self-loathing began that day against her will. Gio realized maybe she really did want comfort. Then he thought, what if I give her what she wants? What if I act like I understand? That would put me in control, wouldn't it? Then he spoke softly. I see. I can't imagine what that was like. It must have been so tough. There was a pause. Then Miho asked, don't you hate me? I did, Gio admitted, but you had no choice. And besides, what am I supposed to do? I'm already a monster. I should start thinking about what comes next. You had to go through it alone. I can only imagine how hard that was. But you don't have to anymore. I'm a monster, too, aren't I? Hearing his words, Miho broke down crying. She thanked Gio, saying he made her feel like it wasn't her fault. But inside, Gio was cold. I'm just manipulating her. Give her what she wants, make her rely on me, then I can control her. Suddenly, Miho said, I want to create more monsters. Gio's heart sunk. His plan was already collapsing. Miho went on. If I keep making more, I'm bound to find others like us. I want to build a group of friends, people who understand me. She looked at him with a smile. Will you help me, Gio, since you're like me? Gio forced a faint smile and agreed.
But nearby, Yarin saw them walking together. Her chest tightened. When did they get so close? Gio is supposed to be a loner. I thought I was his only friend. What if Mijung and Hanji see this? If that happens, my plans could be ruined. While walking, Gio asked Miho how he could help her. He said he didn't know how to create a monster, but Miho told him that he could, and that 2 was better than 1. Then Gio asked if she had any specific plans. Miho said she thought about inviting the target to her home and attacking them in the bathroom. Gio disappointed. Is that the only way? That's sloppy and risky. You've been creating monsters all this time. Have you never been caught? What would you do if you got caught? I understand you've been lonely and you want to create more monsters like us, but don't you think you're rushing it? Why don't we wait until we're adults? In Gio's mind, what a sick monster you are. You want to create more monsters? You make me sick. I need to stop her before this gets any more complicated. But for how long? Does this mean I have to look after and control this monster for the rest of my life? Then Miho agreed and said, "You're right. We can make monsters together when we become adults." "Thank you for listening to me," Gio said. Behind them, Yarin quietly followed, wondering what they were talking about and if they were going out or not. Then her 2 friends appeared and said, "Hey Yarin, I didn't know you walked to school at this hour." Mijong noticed Gio with another girl. She looked at Yarin and said, "Isn't he your boyfriend? Why is he walking with another girl?" Yarin quickly said, "It's not like that." But Mijong teased her, saying she was overreacting and asking if they were really dating. Yarin insisted they're dating. Then Yeonju told Yarin to walk over there and asked Gio why he was walking with another girl. Yarin agreed, but told her friends not to follow, saying she would tell them the details later. Meanwhile, as Gio and Miho walked, Miho found Gio calm, reliable, and cool. In her eyes, Gio accepted his new reality and was already planning for the future. She wished she could be like him. Miho wanted to keep talking to Gio, to really become his friend, but she didn't know what to say. While she was thinking, Yarin appeared and called out, "Gio, can you come with me for a second? I want to talk to you." Gio glanced at Miho and said, "What, now? What is there to talk about?" But Miho said, "Go ahead, Gio. I can step away. We can talk later. We sit together anyway." Miho watched them walk away. She let Gio go because she couldn't think of anything to say to him. Then she overheard Yarin's friends talking behind her. They were planning how to embarrass Yarin and spread a rumor that she was a liar. But to Miho, they just looked like they were having fun. What are they talking about? I wish I could talk to Gio like that. Miho quietly watched them, almost like she was planning something. Meanwhile, with Gio, Yarin asked why he was so close to Miho and if they were going out. "That's ridiculous," Gio shouted. "Then why are you overreacting? Are you really dating her or not?" Gio suddenly got an idea. If I make Miho fall in love with me, maybe I'll have the upper hand. But I don't know how to seduce a monster. Yarin knows about dating, and girls understand each other better. Maybe she can help me. If my plan works, I can keep things under control. Then when the time comes, I'll finish Miho and run away. Gio looked at Yarin. "We're not exactly dating, but I like her. Can you help me?" "Seriously?" Yarin said, shocked. "All you need to tell me is whether you'll help or not." Yarin froze. Frustrated but with no choice, she agreed. On one condition. "I'll help. I will be friends Miho and find out what she likes." Gio quickly said no. He was worried and didn't want Yarin to be in danger. But Yarin insisted. "Okay, I'll help you, but you have to pretend we're going out for 1 month." Gio didn't respond. Then 3 weeks, or maybe 2, she begged. "What? I like her, not you. I can't go out with you," Gio said firmly. With no choice, Yarin confessed. "I lied to my friends. I told them we were dating. I didn't mean to lie. It just happened. If 2 weeks is too much, then just once, please. If my friends find out I lied, it will be humiliating." Gio glared at Yarin. "Are you serious? Forget it. I don't need your help." Out of desperation, Yarin grabbed Gio's arm and said, "If you don't want to do that, then at least say we went out. And I dumped you today." Gio felt disgusted. "Hey, don't talk to me again, okay?" Then he walked away.
leaving Yarin still begging. Later at school, Gio sat in his usual seat. When Miho arrived, Gio asked why she wasn't there before him. He thought she'd already be in class. Miho said she just took her time walking around. Then, out of curiosity, Miho asked Gio if he was dating Yarin. Gio was surprised. "Who told you that?" "No one," Miho said. "I just overheard Yarin's friends talking about you and Yarin." I murmured softly, "I feel bad for Yarin." Gio's eyes widened. "How do you even know her name is Yarin?" Miho hesitated a little. "You know the friends I told you about? They told me after I turned them into monsters."
What? When? Just now? On the way to school? In the middle of the road? Gio asked. Miho explained. There's always a way. Those girls looked tough, like they'd jump you the moment you messed with them. So I poured milk on them, then I ran. They chased me like they wanted to kill me. I went up to a high-rise store. It was empty early in the morning. The second floor doesn't open until 11, and above that, no one was around. I lured them into a third-floor bathroom, then hit them one by one with a hammer. She added, since middle school, when I started throwing up more monsters and my friend caught me, I've started to carry a hatchet and plastic bags to get rid of the monsters. Gio remembered Miho promising they'd make monsters together later. You promised we'd make them together, he said. I did promise, but I never said I would stop making them now. In Gio's head, what the hell? Even if I become her boyfriend, can I really control this? If I even get her to go out with me, what then? How do I make her stop? Miho suddenly remembered something Mi-jeong had told her. When Miho asked how to be Gio's friend, Mi-jeong had said, share snacks, start a conversation about things you both like, hang out more. Out of nowhere, Miho asked Gio, do you want to try that next time? I don't get why you're so worried. It's not like we're going to turn everyone into monsters. If we end up making 5 more like us, then we'll stop. We just invite them to my place, turn them into a monster, and no one will know. She handed him a bottle of milk and smiled like what Mi-jeong said. Gio felt terrified. He had to stop her. Is it even possible to make her change? Miho added, maybe we can invite your friends. Gio grabbed her hand, panicked. Don't. Why not? Tell me why I shouldn't. Gio said, please don't. I'm afraid we might get caught. Those 2 girls I turned today, they seemed close. I thought if I made them into monsters, I could learn how to be your friend. I wanted to be your friend, but I didn't know how. I didn't want us to just be fellow parasite makers. I wanted us to have fun and comfort each other when things got rough. But you want me to stop because you're scared of getting caught? We can work out a plan. Why do you flat out reject this? Or are you still having a hard time accepting you're a monster? Did you say all those words just to comfort me? Was it all sugar-coated lies? It wasn't a lie, Gio said. Miho pulled away and stared at him. Then why are you trying to stop me? You said you accepted being a monster. You said we should think about the future instead of resenting this new reality. You act realistic and plan, but instead of finding solutions, you just say no. What are you hiding? She demanded. Gio couldn't answer. He stared at Miho's sharp eyes. She stood up suddenly. Where are you going? He asked, but she didn't answer. Gio ran after her and caught up outside. Stop following me, Miho said. No, said Gio. Problems start when people don't talk. This is just a big misunderstanding. Gio grabbed her hand. Miho turned and started crying. Misunderstanding? Can you honestly say you meant what you said? I know it's my fault. I'm this horrible monster. If it weren't for me, you wouldn't be this way. My friends, my parents, I killed them. I'm a sick parasite living off the host of this body and its memories. How am I supposed to accept that? I didn't mean to kill them. I didn't mean to steal this body. It just happened. I had no choice. What was I supposed to do? I'm rejected by my own kind. Watching Miho cry, Gio thought, she's dangerous. She knows it's her fault, but keeps making monsters. She's out of her mind. It would almost be a relief if she destroyed herself with guilt, but she's a monster who might snap any moment. He had no idea what she might do next. He needed to calm her down. I'm sorry, said Gio. I didn't explain why. Please trust me. A disgusting parasite?
Why would you say that? Your body might be eaten, but not your mind. We are not parasites. We survived them. Sorry I said no to your plan. I wanted to make sure it's safe before we do anything. I didn't mean to make you feel like I don't trust you. You're not a disgusting parasite. Those who couldn't fight the parasites aren't like us. We held out. You were a child when it happened. Why couldn't others? We are the ones who survived, so don't underestimate yourself. We didn't get eaten by the parasites. We beat them. Be proud. We are the real humans here. The weird ones are the others who might lose to the parasites. You shouldn't feel guilty for turning people into monsters. You're helping us see who the real humans are. Miho stammered, but you hated me at first. You told me so. Gio said, I panicked at first. I was scared. I resented you a little, but I thought about it and I don't care anymore. I'm genuinely grateful to you. Trust me. Miho started crying harder and hugged him.
Yes, she thought as she cried inside. My life was empty, but at least I have one person on my side. He's mine. But is he really on my side? So did that clear up your misunderstanding? Once again, I'm sorry I didn't tell you right off the bat. I promise I won't do that again, Gio said. Then Miho said sorry too. Gio asked Miho to come back to the classroom with him. Miho grabbed Gio's hand and they went to the classroom together. In the classroom, Yarin noticed her friends and said, Hey, where have you been? Do you realize it's almost lunchtime? Mijong said we just left playing hooky. Then she asked Yarin about Gio and the girl from earlier, the one Yarin was supposed to tell them about. Yarin acted dumb and said she dumped Gio. She said she only went out with him because he was too clingy. At first, she found it funny, but then she started feeling bad for Gio. But before she could finish what she was saying, Mijong trembled, trying to hold back her laugh. Then Hyunju also laughed and said to Mijong that she was supposed to hold it in. Yarin asked, confused, Why are you laughing? But Mijong said to Hyunju, I can't hold it anymore. Yarin is just too hilarious. But I do feel bad for her. Yarin asked, You feel bad? Are you talking about me? Then Mijong played the recorded video of what happened at the cafe before. In the video, Yarin's voice could be heard. All those things you said about your dream girl? It's me, isn't it? Yarin started sweating. What? But how? She rushed toward Mijong, demanding her to give up the video, but Hyunju stopped Yarin, and Mijong refused to give it, saying, The good part is coming up. The video continued. Gio's voice was heard. Sorry, I never thought of you as more than a friend. I think we should keep it that way. The whole class heard how Yarin got rejected by Gio. Mijong said, Yarin, stop screaming. You're making other people uncomfortable. Just admit it. You got dumped. That's all there is to it. But Yarin shouted, Shut up! Mijong said, Do you want to explain yourself? You said you two were dating, but weren't you just getting dumped in the video? Don't tell me you lied about dating Gio, because that's just disgusting. Her snake friend Hyunju tried to calm Yarin, saying, They're just messing around. But Yarin got even angrier. I know we are friends, but you really crossed the line. Then Hyunju smirked. Wait, did you just say we are friends? So you felt puffed up just because we played along for a bit and now you think we were really friends, huh? Is that it, loser? We just wanted to see how far you would go to make fun of yourself. Friends, you say. Look around, Yarin. Do you think anyone cares if you lie? Don't kid yourself. None of these people think we're friends. Gosh, you're so pathetic. But thanks, Yarin. It's been fun. Going forward, wake up, learn to read the room, and find a friend more on your level. Then they walked out, saying they hoped it would last longer, but it was still fun for them. Yarin was left standing there, alone, like nothing happened. Later, Yarin was outside and called her mom. Her mom asked her what was going on. Yarin asked if she could transfer schools. Her mother said, You want to transfer now? Yarin said yes, that she couldn't take it anymore. But her mom scolded her. You're not making any sense. You're going to be a senior soon. Before this, you also quit judo for 1 week, and it's not like you're studying that hard. I even paid for a tutor because you said you wanted to study, but you quit after 2 weeks. You stay up late playing around, and I give you everything you want. New bags, fancy shoes every season, but now you want to transfer? What don't you like this time?
How much longer is this gonna go on? You keep asking for things until you get bored. Yarin, I just want you to study enough. What are you going to do with your life? Yarin cried silently and said, Mom, don't do this to me. Don't you want to know why I want to transfer? Then she started crying out loud. I can't do this anymore. It's too hard. Aren't you supposed to ask me why I want to transfer? There was silence. Then her mom said, Fine, what is it this time? Yarin shouted, Forget it. I don't want to talk anymore. Then she hung up. Alone, Yarin cried and said, Why is everything so messed up in my life? I can't believe no one is on my side. Suddenly, Miho appeared. Seriously, right? Yarin jumped. What? You scared me. But out of the blue, Miho started rambling. Do you think he really meant it? Or is he just pretending to get out of the situation? Hi, Yarin. I figured if I could get a friend to dig into Geo, then I could find out the truth, once and for all. I was looking for someone close to Geo, but who knew Geo had no friends? I think you're the only one close to him, so I was hoping you could help me. Yarin just stared at Miho. What are you talking about? Before she could finish, Miho grabbed her and jumped on her, turning her into a monster. There was silence. Then a bite could be heard. Minutes later, Miho walked away with a confused look on her face. She went back to the study room. Geo said, I thought you went to the convenience store. Miho lied. I did, but I didn't see anything I liked. Then she sat down, still thinking about what just happened when she turned Yarin into a monster. Miho then asked the new monster Yarin if she was really close to Geo. Yarin said she wasn't sure, she had been trying, but they were always kind of awkward. Miho said, What? Then what were you talking to about in the morning? Why would you talk to him if you two were awkward? Yarin said she talked to Geo because she needed his help, and that Geo told her he liked Miho. The puppet Yarin misunderstood her own memory of Geo's lie that morning. Miho froze. After hearing those words, she asked again, What? Geo likes me? Are you sure that's what he said? The puppet monster nodded.
Miho wondered to herself, He still likes me after all I've done? That's not possible, but why would he like me? I wonder if something went wrong when I turned him into a monster, or is he just weird? Why in the world does he like me? Miho wanted to know how Geo really felt about her, but she didn't know how. Then she remembered what Mi-jung once told her. If you want to be friends with someone, you need to get them to like you. Share your snacks, strike up a conversation on common interests, and start hanging out. Upon remembering those words, Miho called out Geo's name and asked if they could hang out on the weekend. Days passed. At a certain restaurant, Miho and Geo were having lunch together. This looks great, Geo said. I know, right? I always wanted to come here, but it's a couple-themed restaurant, so I felt awkward about coming alone. I mean, I could always bring a fake monster boyfriend, but I didn't want to. I'd much rather bring a monster friend who truly understands me. Oh, really? Thanks for inviting me here, Geo said. I was thrilled when you asked me. I even looked up a cafe we could go to for dessert. Do you want to check it out after we're done here? After their lunch, Miho and Geo casually walked down the street. Miho kept a close eye on Geo, silently observing him while Geo rambled about random things. Suddenly, he asked Miho what she wanted to do next. Lost in thought, Miho just stared blankly for a moment before they decided to watch a movie together. After the movie, Miho sighed. Gosh, that movie was terrible. You know what they say, misery loves company. I should have suspected something when the rating was that high. Then Geo noticed Miho's drink ailing. He quickly handed her a wet wipe and said, Go clean up in the restroom. Thank you, Miho replied. As she got up, Miho noticed several plastic bags in Geo's bag. She asked, Why do you have so many plastic bags, and what's with that container? Geo answered, I remembered how you told me about a monster randomly popping out of your mouth, so since then, I've been carrying these around. Miho was surprised and touched. Anyway, today was fun. Shall we go? But Miho stopped him. Wait, she held his hand. Do you want to go take photos tomorrow? The next day, they went to take photos together. Looking at the pictures, Miho saw that they both looked like they were having fun, like a happy couple. They began keeping in touch regularly, just like a real couple would. Miho was having fun.
She asked Gio again if they could hang out. Days passed, and Miho struggled to decide what clothes to wear. She spent hours putting on lipstick and makeup, anything to make herself prettier. "It's okay to go all out today just for Gio," she told herself. As she opened the door, she thought, when did everything become so much fun? All I know is I woke up one day and found myself enjoying every day, looking forward to the next. And if I'm being honest, I might be okay if you're not really being genuine. Would I be able to live this life if I wasn't a monster? I'm so happy. I know I'm a monster and I shouldn't want love, but whether you like me or not, it doesn't matter. I just want to live like this for as long as I can. That day, Gio gave Miho an odd-looking doll. "I got this from a claw machine. It was really hard, but I saw you looking at it, so I went and got it for you." Then Gio handed her another item. "What is this?" Miho asked. "Check it at home," Gio replied. "We'll see each other again tomorrow." Later that evening, Miho entered her house. She muttered to herself, "I wasn't really looking at the doll. It's kind of ugly, but sort of cute." As she examined it, she noticed a Band-Aid, an ointment Gio had given her earlier when she hurt her foot from wearing high heels. She grabbed them, and her face blushed as she thought about Gio's kindness and consideration. At a parking lot, Miho entered a car where Gio's mom was waiting. "Is it Miho?" Gio's mom asked. But Miho said, "Sorry, I can't take it anymore. I need to find out." She then rushed at Gio's mom and turned her into one of her puppet monsters. That night, while Gio was asleep, Miho entered his room. She grabbed his phone and unlocked it using his fingerprint. When she opened it, she saw his recent searches, all about dating. Upon seeing this, Miho was thrilled and happy. "I'm so happy. Who knew life could be this beautiful? Just a few months ago, my life was a living hell. Isn't love so great? After becoming a monster, love was the first thing I gave up. Who knew I'd live to see this day? When will you tell me how you feel? Will it be next week when we go to the amusement park? Or when the exams are over? I wonder how you'll tell me. Will you write me a letter or tell me in person? Anything would be great. Gio, as long as you're with me, I don't think I'd need any other monster." She kissed Gio, then left the room. But as she closed the door, she noticed something. Gio's diary. She opened it and began to read. "Talking to Miho today, I found out that monsters can come out of her body. Maybe there's a way to pull out the mother monster and kill it. The tentacles are tougher than I thought. They swell and shrink like a tongue. At first I thought they were too big to live off a body, but that's probably why. I wonder if the swelling makes them tougher. Blunt weapons won't hurt them. I'd better stab or slash them with something sharp. I got the out-of-stock potato chips the monster wanted to try. This will get her to like me more. She got all dolled up today, so I complimented her. Don't tell me you have sentiments. You're a freaking monster." Miho's hands trembled as she turned the pages. Every entry was the same. Every word revealed Gio's true feelings. How to make her fall for him, how to get rid of her. All along, Gio had been disgusted just being near her. He couldn't stand her. He only played along to keep her in check. In truth, he wished Miho would just die. Upon reading those words, Miho approached the sleeping Gio. She looked at him closely, her eyes filled with rage and despair, terrifying, as if she were ready to kill him.